What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and I just finished up watching Oscar Valdez versus Liam Wilson, and this was a 12-rounder for the WBO Interim Super Featherweight World Championship, and this fight was Friday, March 29th, from the Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale, Arizona, and this fight was broadcasted on ESPN Plus and ESPN as well, and in this fight, Oscar Valdez was able to get a pretty impressive 7th-round stoppage victory over Liam Wilson. So, I had this fight scored 58-56 in favor of Oscar Valdez leading up to the stoppage here. I primarily thought that the earlier part of this fight, like the first couple rounds, were very, very competitive. But then Valdez really started to sort of take control of the fight a bit. And I'll just break that down real quick. The first two rounds were pretty good rounds for Liam Wilson. Came out strong, was fighting like the longer man, looked like the younger, stronger fighter in there. Looked very good in those first two rounds, might I say. Was just picking Valdez apart a bit. But then in round number three, this was actually a very, very close round in my opinion. Um, like Valdez had some very solid work, but also Wilson in that third round was able to place some decent shots well. So it was a very competitive, close round, but I edged it to Valdez. Then around number four, again, it was just a very, very tight round in my opinion. Wilson worked decently on the inside, but I thought Valdez overall had the better work throughout. Um, and then around number five, this one was somewhat of a decent round as well. Um, Liam Wilson was able to land some decent shots going forward, but in my opinion, I thought Valdez still just had the better work because he was backing up a bit. He did get caught a little bit here and there, like I said, when Wilson went forward, but I thought that Valdez had some very solid work off the back foot a bit, countering and landing some big hooks on Wilson. And then in the sixth round, this was a very solid round for Valdez. He was able to put together some big combinations, land some big, heavy power shots on Liam Wilson. And it was just the beginning of the end from there. Because in the seventh round, Valdez followed it up by landing some heavy shots, hurting Wilson with an array of hooks and uppercuts, having him stumbling and bumbling around the ring. Wilson was trying to fight back, was not really defending himself well, kept getting hit, so the referee waved it off. So this goes into question, what is next for Oscar Valdez? He's now the WBO interim super featherweight champ. Emmanuel Navarrete, who is the current full WBO champ, is going to be fighting Denis Beranchyk for the WBO lightweight title. So we could see Valdez be elevated to world champion if Navarrete chooses to go to 135 if he does beat Beranchyk. But, for Oscar Valdez, like who he could fight next, I mean, I kind of don't know. I would imagine that it would be someone inside the top 15 at 130 in the WBO. Just getting this win here over Wilson, obviously on paper, a very, very solid win. But yeah, he could be elevated to full WBO champion, as I mentioned before. And I'm sure he's gonna get some big options. Obviously, when you look at the top ranked stable, there's guys like Andreas Cortez, Albert Bell is highly ranked also by the WBO. Liam Wilson was ranked number 2 going into this. Valdez was ranked number 4, and Cortez and Bell are ranked 1 and 3. So we could possibly see any of those guys take on Valdez if he does get elevated. But another big option could be like a unification fight or something like that, or just a big fight between like Valdez and Oshaki Foster. And Foster's someone who did obviously sign with Top Rank and has had a fight already with Top Rank, so we could possibly see that. But as for Liam Wilson losing here for the third time in his career, this has to be a tough loss for him. In his second biggest fight in the United States, happening also in Glendale, Arizona, losing here. For him, I think he's going to go back to Australia, get a few decent wins, and maybe get called back up for a big opportunity here again in the U.S. because he's definitely a very solid fighter. But his chin has just really been the worst for him, and his punch resistance, obviously, as the rounds go on, especially going into some of those later rounds, just like in this one and against Emmanuel Navarrete. So overall, Oscar Valdez stops Liam Wilson in the 7th round to become the WBO's interim super featherweight champ. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.